Hello my beautiful babes out there and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a ranking of all my palettes from Unearthly Cosmetics. I love doing a good ranking video and I thought maybe you would too. But before we get into this video, if you're new here and you enjoy a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I'd love to have you here. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Hey there cuties, I'm in such a good mood right now. It is Thursday and I'm actually going to be off tomorrow because one of my closest, bestest friends is visiting and I haven't seen her in 2 years. This whole pandemic has made traveling hard, obviously, for everyone. So she is finally coming here. I am so ready for a girls' day to hang out and it's just putting me in such a good mood. I'm also excited to get into this ranking because I love Unearthly Cosmetics. I have a lot of palettes from them and I was going through my collection and thinking, what brands do I have a lot of palettes from that I could do rankings for? I feel like this is helpful for people who are like new to the brand I'm talking about and trying to figure out like what to try first and stuff. So I feel like Unearthly Cosmetics, which was formerly known as Alien Cosmetics, is really growing as a brand. They are a small indie brand, but I feel like there's a lot of interest in their brand. A lot of people are curious about their stuff and a lot of people are really raving and loving their things, and I totally understand why, because Unearthly is one of the best brands I tried this year. And I bought all these palettes last year and I have 11 of them because I just was so impressed by their eyeshadows, their color stories and everything. And I just couldn't stop buying their stuff. So I thought I would do this to help you guys out if you want to know what I think is the best of the best. Now this ranking was really hard for me because I love all of these palettes, and to put an Unearthly Cosmetics palette at like a bottom of a ranking just seems so wrong to me. But for the sake of this video, I did it. But just know I had to go through a lot to do this, and I did this all for you, okay? The struggle was real, but I did it for y'all, okay? But anyways, let's get into this ranking. So at the bottom of this ranking, don't take this anyway, okay? This is an amazing palette, great quality, but in terms of my preference and what I love in color stories and palettes, this was at the bottom, and you'll see why very soon. So this is the Capricorn palette from Alien Cosmetics, and really the reason why it's at the bottom is because it's an all matte palette. Now, I appreciate an all matte palette. Every now and then I will do an all matte look, but honestly, I use this more as an accent palette with other palettes where I'm needing mattes or I'm wanting a specific color in a matte. I will pull for this. This is not really a standalone palette for me. And with that, it makes it at the bottom of my ranking. But the quality is superb. If you like all matte palettes, or you're looking for good mattes to use like with your single shimmers, or you feel like you're lacking these kind of colors in matte formulas, this would be a great palette. It just, in terms of what I like and what I look for in a palette, this is not fully it for me. Then the next one, which is the one I actually have in my eyes, and it's the newest one that I purchased, and I've been testing it out. I think this is maybe my second or third look that I did. I mean, it's beautiful. I did film this look for Instagram, which will be coming soon. But this one is the Fairy FROLIC palette from Unearthly. The only reason why I put this a little lower is because it's a little bit more of a muted color story. I do like a lot of bright, vivid colors, and I wish that there was some more like lighter shimmers in here. I feel like overall the shimmers are more mid-tones. I mean, you could probably use this one as the inner corner and this is the one I do have in the inner corner, but I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit of more iridescent or lighter shimmers. I just love bright light shimmers in the inner corner, and I feel like overall it's leaning more neutral than anything besides the few pops of greens. This is a more like rosy toned, cooler toned neutral palette besides this one shade right here, but I still love it. Quality is great. In terms of just what I really love, like I like smoky shades. I like really bright, colorful stuff. I like super vivid colors. So that's not like the color story I always gravitate to, but it's still beautiful. And I still like to create looks like that every now and then. And there's going to be a palette like further up on this ranking that's similar in the color story, but there's a reason why it's higher, but we'll get there. And then the next one here in the ranking, this would be what, number 9. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics collab with Cindy Nicole Adams. Also gorgeous. I love the tones in here, but this is a heavily matte palette. So it's all matte, and then there's these two more lighter shimmers that are like perfect as inner corner highlights or toppers. And then that's it for shimmers. And then there is this one matte that has little shimmer specks in it. And it's beautiful. I love the tones. There's a lot of deep, dark mattes in here, like colorful, deep mattes. I just wish, like, for me, that there was more shimmers. But of course, this is Cindy Nicole Adams' like preferences and what she likes. But in terms of like how I would rank something, I would need more shimmers in it. I mean, I do love mattes, but I rather have amazing shimmers than amazing mattes. It's just a preference. I could do an all shimmer look and I'd be fine with that. And that's really it. Besides that, these shades are beautiful. They're pigmented, they're blendable. I love using this with other palettes. This is definitely an accent palette for me too. If I want more mattes, if I want like a matte in this color to use with other shimmers, or if I want to use these two as inner corner highlights, I will pull this palette. But this is not really a palette that I use on its own. Then number 8 in this ranking, which is so fun and so bright, this is the Witching Hour palette. I did do videos on most of these palettes. I will link them all below. I'll try to remember to put them up in the corner. But I did like a fun little Halloween look with this because it just, you know, it's a Halloween kind of inspired palette. There's a lot of bright, just fun colors in here. You can do like purples, oranges, you know, a yellowy, a grungy kind of yellowy green look. I do wish that there was maybe a matte that was even deeper in here. They're pretty deep, but they're leaning more on the mid-tone side, like these mattes in here. And usually there's a dark matte in a Unearthly Cosmetics palette, but this one was just more like colorful and poppy and fun. I still enjoyed using it. Now the shades are more firmly pressed in the pan, so you have to like dig a little bit more to pick up the shades, but once you do that, they're beautiful. And I feel like the mattes too were, you know, very nice and blendable, but it's still really great. It just, you know, for ranking's sake, it is where it is. Then the next one, which is number 7. This is a palette. I don't think I ever reviewed this on my channel because I bought it kind of late, but it's a beautiful, gorgeous palette. This is the Poison Apple palette. I did do a look on my Instagram with this, like a Christmassy look, because it does have, you know, serious Christmas vibes in it. But this is the color story in this one. I do like this one because I feel like it is a little bit of grungy. It has like a light metallic in here. It has, you know, mid-tones, a light matte. It has deeper mattes in here. And I like the options. And I don't know, I just thought this was really pretty. And I feel like this is a complete palette. Like I could do complete looks with this. And just overall, I just loved it. The shades in here are really sparkly. And I mean, there's not more that I could say besides these are all good. Then the next one is the Strawberry Milkshake palette. And I felt like this color story is very interesting and intriguing, and that's why it's like higher ranked than the other palettes. There's just something so fun about this. Like the mix with the pinks and the reds and the greens, like pink and green looks are so beautiful. Red and pink looks are so beautiful. I like that there's a good range. Like it starts from dark and goes really light. The mattes are really pigmented. The shimmers are really pretty. I love a good red metallic. Now these are also firmly pressed in the pan, but they're just really pretty. Once you get them on the brush and you put them on the eyes, they're gorgeous. The shimmers work best with a glitter primer in this like format, but I just thought that this color story was different, a little bit more unique than the other things that I have, so I really do love this one. So number 5 in the ranking, which is pretty much in the middle, this is the Smells Like Holiday Spirit. This was one of Unearthly's holiday releases, and I feel like this wasn't as hyped as like their other palettes, but I love this one. This one has more shades in it, it has more options. This one is more matte heavy, but I think the tones are interesting in this. It is also, to me, a unique color story. There's cool tones in here, there's warm tones in here. I think that this is like a really interesting grayish blue. It has light shimmers, like this beautiful, really light, limey metallic makes a beautiful inner corner highlight. This light purple one, this like lavender shade, also makes a beautiful inner corner highlight. And I just thought this was a cool take on a holiday palette. It was very different, and she was saying, the owner, that this was like a grungy take on a holiday palette, and I like the vibes, I like the packaging, so that's why it like sits right in the middle. Then the next one is the other holiday release from Unearthly, and this was the In the Dark palette. It's more of the gothic vibe, and this one is mainly matte, and that's surprising for it to be so high, but it's the tones of these mattes. They're so dark and so smoky and sultry and cool tone, and this obscure shade is very unique. It's kind of like a grungy gray shade, which I don't have a lot of shades like this in my collection. I feel like it's a unique one. It's like a grayishy, browny, grungiest gray. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. And then these beautiful purples, and these two metallics in here are really shifty. They're so beautiful. Like this is a blue to lavender. This one is like a really violety shift. They make beautiful toppers, beautiful inner corners, and I just thought that this was also really different for a holiday palette. I just like the dark gothic vibes, and the quality is amazing, so that's why it's pretty high. I mean, what, this is number 4, really good. And then the next one, which is number 3 in my ranking, I feel like a lot of you are gonna know what's number 1 if you've been watching my videos, but I have this right here. This is the Not Normal palette. This is a beautiful grunge palette, like one of my favorite grungy color stories. I love this sage shade right here. I love this Exorcist shade, what a name. And then it has like taupey shades, purples, greens. There's a lot of variety in here. You can go cool tone or you can go warm and grungy, and I love that. And I'm just a sucker for grungy, more like murky, more like dingy shades, even though that sounds weird. I love making looks with these kind of colors. It's where my heart is at probably the most, is like greens and grungy shades. And it's my ultimate like favorite grungy palette out of all the palettes I have in my collection. I think to reach for this if I'm thinking to do a more like dingy grungy look. I don't know how many times I said grunge. I know it's a lot. Sorry, bear with me, okay? Then at number 2. And I think you guys will be surprised because this is a more neutral, more muted color story, and it's kind of similar to the Fairy Frolic one, but there's something extra special about the formula in this one. And this is the Fall Magic palette from Unearthly, and a lot of people went crazy for this palette. It kept selling out. I know people keep asking for it to come back because it's just so unique, and this is just so beautiful. Like, this is also a very interesting take on a fall palette, but it fits, and something is different about this formula. The mattes are not as firmly pressed. They're a little bit more soft and like silky feeling, and then the shimmers are not as firmly pressed either, and they're just so like sparkly and foiled, and they're easy to pick up. Like the other palettes, you kind of have to dig in them a little bit more, and these have like dual chromes in here that are really shifty. They're just so pretty. You can do like a purple, a greeny look, like a tealy one. You can kind of stick with the neutrals, do a taupey look, and I don't know, the formula is just like even better. Like, all of these palettes are superb, and this is like even a notch better in formula, and I didn't even know that was possible with Unearthly's palettes. Like, I felt like they're like the top of the top, but they're able to even top themselves because something about this quality and everything, and I don't know, it's just scrumptious. It's just so pretty. I want to use it all the time, and I get why people went so crazy for this palette. I feel like it appeals to color lovers as well as neutral lovers, so I think it like fits both sides of like the makeup world. And then the last one, number 1, which you should already know this if you've been watching me for a while, is the Lore palette, which I'm sure I'm making people sick of hearing me talk about this because I've raved about this so much, and I find any excuse to mention this, talk about it, swatch it, tell you my love for it. And the Lore palette has the same formula like the Fall Magic palette. The mattes and the shimmers aren't as firmly pressed. They're really soft and easy to pick up. Like, these mattes are so silky. And even though that this is a 9-pan color story, there's a lot you can do with this, surprisingly. You can do something like berry and pink, like just using these shades. You can get green, you can do a little grunge, you can make it a little bit more of like a warm neutral look. And all these shimmers in here are just absolutely stunning. I could swatch these all day long. This one right here, Serpent, has a like pink to green shift. I don't know if you guys can see. They're just so beautiful. I mean, this Basilic, I've swatched a million times on my channel. It's like one of my favorite shades to wear. And I don't know. I try to avoid swatching the palettes because if I did, I'd be here all day. But this is just beautiful. I mean, everything. Even this Griffin shade is really pretty for being more of like a, kind of like a tarnished gold color. Oh my gosh. And this one is just so special to me in terms of color story, formula, how the looks come out, how I feel when I use it. The one I would recommend the most to people like trying the brand or wanting to know what palette to pick up next from them. If you like this color story, I think you would love this. You would be so impressed by the formula. At least I think you would be, in terms of like what my preferences are when it comes to shadows. Matte pigmented, they're blendable, the shimmers are foiled, sparkly, gorgeous scrumptiousness. And that is why this is #1 for my ranking in terms of all of my unearthly palettes. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I feel like I rambled and rambled like I always do when it comes to talking to palettes, especially palettes that I love and hold so dear to my heart. I could just talk on and on about them. Like, I'm just in love with all of these, and I think the brand is amazing. Like, if you haven't tried Unearthly, you're missing out. They're such an amazing indie brand. They make cool color stories. I feel like they're just very different, very unique, and they always come out with cool, unique stuff. They're not like doing what everybody else is doing. I feel like they go and they do their own thing, and the brand owner just has like an eye for colors and color stories. And she just tries different things, and I think that's really cool, and I really like the brand. I've had an amazing experience. So that was everything for my ranking. You guys will have to let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you tried the brand? Have you tried any of these palettes? I would love to hear from all of y'all. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video and you like a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I'd love to have you here. Also, don't forget to check the description below. I will have all the palettes linked. I don't know if all of them are available, but if they are, there'll be a link there where to find it. I will also link the reviews I've done on any of these palettes in case you want to see them in action, see me do swatches and create some looks. You can definitely check those videos out. I will also have my contact and social media platforms linked. I'm on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_Beauty, and I'm also on TikTok as Breezy_Beauty. So if you want to check out my other platforms, I would love to have you over there as well. But that was everything, guys. Thank you so much for being here, for watching this video and hanging out with me for a bit. I really appreciate it. But I do hope you guys are doing well wherever you are in the world, and I'm just sending you guys all so much love and light. But until next time, bye guys.